Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nethergreen Podcast. Today,
welcome to episode 10 of the Nethergreen.
Yes, this is episode 10.
It is the big 10. We're in the double digits now, man.
Yeah, and that means we can finish.
Yeah.
You know, we were only doing this just to be able to say Nethergreen Podcast episode 10.
Yeah.
It's a big moment.
Honestly, it was on my bucket list that I would have done 10 episodes of any podcast, really. And I've done it now.
Yeah.
And that was the only item on my bucket list, so expect me dead within the week.
And now I can die happily.
Yeah, because Bradley competing his bucket list was on your bucket list. And that was your only item.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, exactly. You know.
Man, what a beautiful friendship we have, huh?
Yeah.
But yes.
Where it ends in us dying because,
Yeah, but the most beautiful friendships do. Have you never seen Romeo and Juliet?
I'm not sure if that was a friendship.
It was a beautiful friendship, one that ended in sex and death. So, just like ours will.
Sex and death. Oh my god, yeah.
But welcome to this.
Welcome
to
the
episode
Nethergreen
10
podcast.
Clearly, we have
Today,
evolved.
I'm the host, the only host, because the other one is now dead, because that was on his bucket list. I wasn't actually going to kill myself, that wasn't on my bucket list. I just said that to make him feel better, and now that he's dead, I don't have to kill myself, because I was just doing it to make him feel better before he eventually did die. But now that he's gone and out of the way, we can continue this podcast with just me. It's Hector, the Nether podcast.
And me.
So, oh my, who are you?
I'm Andrew. You can call me Andrew.
Wow. This world really is full of surprises.
It is.
Andrew.
And Bradley left it in his will. And weirdly enough, it was the only thing he said in his will. Everything else is, in limbo right now as to who goes what. But the only thing he said that was that Andrew, would be the new co-host of Nethergreen Podcast. Thank you for having me.
My God. Yeah. No, that was never mentioned to me, to be honest.
I've never even met you. This is going to be weird. You're a complete stranger to me, to be honest. He talks about you loads. He talked about you loads, obviously, but
yeah.
But no, yeah. You're a complete mystery to me. You're an enigma, trapped in a puzzle box of wonderment and curiosity, and I'll crack you throughout the course of this next hour. I will crack your puzzle. But how are you today, random stranger?
I'm good, thank you, Andrew.
You can call me Bradley if it makes you feel easier.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because the guy who died, his name was Bradley, and I know that it probably was off the tongue easier for you,
Yeah. Yeah, and you're basically just a nobody.
I'm not. Yeah.
To me, you're nothing.
Yeah, and I want everyone to remember that from now on. This is canon in the Nethergreen lore. Bradley died in episode 10 and was replaced with an Andrew who then took his name, and it will never be mentioned again. But this is canon. This is it. This happened.
Yeah. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I've come down with a bit of a cold, and in today's, in the modern age, maybe go back 4 years ago, you got a cold, and you think, man, I've got a cold, that sucks. I just carry on with my life normally. But in the modern age, you get a cold, and oh my god, I've got COVID.
I'm gonna have to isolate for 2 weeks.
I'm gonna have to isolate for 2 years.
Oh no!
Can't get to see human contact. Can't travel. Can't buy food.
Don't look at me, mother. You'll get infected through sight.
Don't look at me. Yeah, but no, I know I probably don't have COVID because I literally haven't gone anywhere. So it's probably just a cold. To be fair, it's winter time. Everyone's gonna be getting colds, and so all the stupid people think they've got COVID. But that's where we're at right now. The world's all topsy-turvy. No one really knows what's going on.
I reckon you've just got man flu. You're too much of a man, and nature was like he's too manly. We need to strike him down while the iron's hot.
That is that is something that happens often.
It is. You always hear men complaining about man flu.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's like the man version of bird flu. In a way.
I guess you're right. Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, birds do fly, so I guess it makes sense that you'd say birds flew because they did flew.
No, I mean bird flu. Have you never heard of bird flu?
Well, Yeah, birds fly all the time, man. What do you mean?
That's terrible. You just destroyed my joke. You just pissed
Oh, sorry.
all over the essence of comedy. You can't do that. That was wrong.
It was wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, Hector, I actually know why you're feeling so weak. It's not that you've got a cold. It's that there's an energy crisis, and you feel depleted of your natural energy.
And that's the perfect segue onto our first topic of today.
I did it brilliantly.
That is the UK energy crisis.
Yes.
That's right. If you're living in the UK, you might already know, and if you don't, then we're informing you today that there is an energy crisis. And you might be thinking, what the hell is an energy
I thought energy
crisis?
grew on trees, is what you might be thinking.
What do you mean energy? My computer's running, the lights are working, there's obviously energy. Not that kind of energy, you silly goose. There's actually a different kind of energy crisis, one that is involving gas. See, the prices of gas, wholesale gas,
and that includes
rocketed
petrol
by 300.
and everything like that. Not just
Yeah, like gas
diesel.
for like heating your houses, that kind of gas. It's the price of it is rocketed 350%. So loads of big companies are going bust, and loads of CO2 factories in the UK gone bust. There's been a shortage of delivery drivers, and now there's a shortage of petrol, and
the trees
there's
are dying.
Temporarily a shortage of food. People are dying on the streets. It's terrible. People are stockpiling food. It's just so actually there isn't actually a shortage of anything. There's just there's what's the opposite of a shortage? There's
I suppose like
a surplus of retards that are going out and stockpiling stuff, which is actually what's causing the shortage.
Even here in my tiny little town, I've driven past petrol stations where people are filling up tanks. Like, fill up the car and you fill up a tank. Guess what, pal? Guess what, fella? You don't need it. You don't need that tank. If you really needed that tank, it'd be in your car right now.
Do you know what I believe?
What do you believe?
This is a bit conspiracy theory, but I believe this is all fake news. There was never a shortage. They were just like, hey, sales are low right now, and we love money. So let's just tell
Mr. Krabs runs the gas station.
But it works, if that was their plan, then it fucking worked. They told everyone there was a shortage, and then everyone goes and buys shit tons more. It's genius.
Well, if that is their plan, then they are crafty, mischievous gremlin boys. But if it isn't the plan, then either way, people are idiots. Either way, people don't win in the situation. If it is really a shortage, then you're just making it harder for everyone around you because you're selfish.
Yeah.
And
but
you're
that's the thing. We've seen so much that people, especially in the UK, people are just fucking idiots. Have you seen all these things on? Have you heard this? Have you seen this?
Have you heard about it?
All these people on have you seen all these people on Instagram? I've seen it loads of people that are protesting climate change or something, and they're just sat in the middle of the road, and there's ambulances that are trying to get past, and they're just fucking sat there blocking off everyone, and everyone's getting mad, and people are just coming up to them, and they're literally just grabbing them and throwing them out of the road.
Good.
It's hilarious.
Honestly, if you
it's what a bunch of fucking idiots.
And that's the worst thing, because I haven't seen what you're talking about, but I can imagine as they're being thrown, they have a face being like, what? You're hurting me? Yeah, we're hurting you, you fucking idiot. You're being so fucking ignorant. You're being so selfish, and you're ruining things for everyone else. Get a grip.
Yeah, no, literally. And that is the thing, because they're protesting climate change or whatever, but what are they doing? They're causing all of these cars to stand with their engines running. What is that doing?
Yeah.
It's completely counterproductive for what they're trying to achieve, isn't it? It's just the dumbest.
It's not as if anyone's going to turn the engine off, get out of the car, and be like, "I'm joining you." We're going to make a difference.
It's terrible. So dumb, so dumb, so
and that's actually one of the main problems with this sort of thing, and it's not just a case of climate change, it's with literally everything. There are so many good ideas in the world that would actually make a positive difference, and the people who believe in them are trying to spread that message in the dumbest fucking way possible. That makes you want to it's the same with vegans, it's the same with some of the LGBTQ communities. You've got good concepts, and the way you're spreading that idea makes you look like idiots and makes everyone want to disagree with the idea that is good.
It makes everyone want to disagree. It makes everyone else who's supporting it look like pricks. But yeah, look, I just sent you it on Instagram, and there's the video of it, and everyone is so pissed off with them. So there's like people with ambulances, like there's an ambulance, they're just sat there like retards in the road.
Yeah, what
and
fucking
people are just coming by. And look, watch. People are literally coming up to them, just grabbing them and like dragging them. And look at what happens. Like they don't even fight it. They're just being like so pathetic.
It's because they know that like if they actually try and fight this, they will just get beaten up. Like they haven't got time for your shit.
What a bunch of idiots.
More ones. And again, it's a great message. Definitely fight climate change. Don't do it like that. Don't do it in a way where people will look at you and be like, wow, it doesn't actually matter what they believe in. Those guys are pricks. No.
Do something positive. Like, do something positive where people see it and they're like, yes, you go. You do that, guys. And then it gets people motivated and excited and they want to join the cause. Whereas if you're sat in the road blocking ambulances and pissing people off because they're trying to get to work, no one is going to want to join your cause. In fact, everyone's going to want to be against your cause.
Yeah. I mean, what dum-dums. That's all I can say. I almost wish you hadn't sent me that. I was better off not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's been a lot of terrible things on the internet the past few days.
It has, and
that's just one.
But that's the thing. Some of the terrible shit on the internet is because some terrible stuff's happening in real life. You know, it spreads. That's what I can say. And sometimes terrible shit on the internet spreads into real life. For example, Elon Musk and Grimes split, and I reckon the internet could have had something to do with that. To be fair,
I mean, it was quite weird, wasn't it? I mean, like, what did they name their child? Some sort of weird
X12AE12X or some shit like that. It's like computer code, or like I think some of it's named after like a jet, like an aeroplane or something.
Yeah, it's.
Did you see the pictures of Grimes fucking walking down the street dressed as like a video game character, essentially reading Karl Marx?
Weird. She's so weird. Why Elon Musk and Grimes are like the two? Like I would never have pictured those two people together ever at all. She's like really weird, not clever. And then you've got Elon Musk, who, granted, he's a little bit weird, but is an absolute fucking genius and a billionaire.
Well, no, because that's the thing, though, because before she got with Elon, from what I can tell, a lot of people really enjoyed Grimes and her whole dynamic of, I am quirky, I'm weird, But that's the thing, because once she got with Elon, and with the sort of stuff that Elon does do, a lot of people realised that, she's actually, like, for years and everything in her songs, she's been preaching against the sort of shit that Elon talks about for years. Yeah. And then, with the Karl Marx stuff, and then she posted the pictures on Instagram, and she said something in the description of it which was like, I believe in an economy run by cryptocurrency and gaming. Or some shit like that.
That's cringe. That's really cringe.
They both are, though. They both are really cringe. And apparently they split up. But they're still being friendly for little baby XEI12 chromosome.
Yeah.
Bub 2, It's just...
Man.
Yeah, I mean, Elon's been busy since then, hasn't he?
He has been busy. He was at CodeCon. CodeCon 2021.
Didn't you go to
Not
that?
2020, obviously. No, I didn't get to that. But I realised how smart this person is, because there is no man that can talk about such a wide range of topics and just be like the smartest person in the room at every single topic that he talks about. They talk about cryptocurrency is one of the things that they talk about, and he basically hints at that China doesn't want cryptocurrency because it takes power away from, decentralizes government power, which is why they don't want it. Which, I mean, is pretty obvious. That's how China's like, where is Jack Ma? The founder of Alibaba has just vanished off the face of the earth, one of the richest men in the world, and everyone thinks it's because the Chinese government didn't like him, and now they've taken him away to their little cave.
Wait, you should have told me you were looking for. He's round here. He's in the spare room. I had no idea people were looking for him. Oh shit! I'll let him know.
That's Jack, richest man in the world. No, yeah, and also they talk about Jeff Bezos suing Elon Musk and the moon base.
Was Bezos there?
They're trying to do that. No, he wasn't there, but they talk about how Jeff Bezos is trying to sue him.
For what? Was it? Wait, is it the space travel shit?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like he was suing him for because he got the deal with NASA to set up the moon base. Basically, I don't really understand how you can
set up the moon base, dude. They are both fucking comic supervillains in their own rights. They really truly are.
See, I think Elon Musk is the good guy. I think definitely Jeff Bezos is the bad guy. Have you seen that guy's laugh?
No, but here's the thing. I think Elon Musk is like... Alright, Jeff Bezos is like, yeah, he's the Lex Luthor. But Elon is the Tony Stark. But you got to remember, Tony Stark might be a good guy, but he also ended up causing a lot of shit. He built Ultron.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I think Elon's got a good heart, but I do think at some point he's gonna fuck up humanity with one of his concepts. Maybe. I really do.
Yeah, maybe he will. I mean, it wouldn't shock.
Like the strives he's doing in AI. I don't trust AI.
Actually, he's one of the people that's advocating against strives, which is something that he talks about in this interview. He says that we're advancing too quickly with AI and there's not enough regulation.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good that he said that.
People are like building all these new forms of AI, and they're like doing research on how to make AI smarter, etc., etc. But while all of this is going on, and we're having a rapid, what do you call it? We're rapidly increasing our knowledge of AI and rapidly increasing like the complexity of AI. Yeah. There's no regulation for it at all. None. There's none at all. There's literally not a single piece of regulation.
Because how can
by
you
government or by anyone?
How can you put a cap on how smart you can make it?
I mean, apparently they've already started. They've started the process for legislations, but like as he said in the interview, like the problem is with government, because government is so like any government establishment apart from maybe small ones, the process they have for legislation, because it's such a big source of, like, the government is huge, like a huge network of shit. Yeah. And it just takes forever. Like, it'll take like 5 to 10 years for them to finish a legislation, but in 5 to 10 years, that's too long. And so there's no regulations for AI really, and that's something that he said he thinks there needs to be.
No, I'm glad he said that then. I haven't heard the interview, but I'm glad he's kind of turned it around, because I remember seeing something a few years ago about how he was quite eager for AI. So maybe he was right. Maybe it has kind of advanced since then a bit too quickly for his liking.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, another thing that they talked about in the interview, which I thought was funny, was psychedelics.
Really? What, Elon
Musk openly talked about psychedelics in this interview, and he says he believes that people should be more open to it in the modern age.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting to hear that from Elon Musk, one of the billionaires of the world.
Well, he smoked a joint on Joe Rogan's podcast, like he's open to drugs.
He did indeed.
Well, he smoked a toke of a joint. He didn't smoke a full joint.
Yeah, he didn't get high.
He got very overblown, I think.
It did. It really did. You watch the video and he didn't even properly breathe it.
Yeah, he takes a puff. He inhales it wrong, and then they just talk about weed for 5 minutes while he doesn't.
He probably didn't even get high. Not even slightly.
I very much doubt he did.
Yeah. But like the final thing from this interview, which I think was interesting that he talked about, was he talks about things called great filters, which are like philosophical topics about what people believe there could be that would prevent civilizations from continuing to exist into the future, because there's the Fermi paradox, and if you don't know what the Fermi paradox is, it basically says that there's like an infinitely high chance that we should have seen aliens by now, but we haven't seen them at all. So the question is, where are they all? Because by like all laws of maths, we should have already seen loads of aliens, but we haven't seen any. So people have theorized that there's things called great filters, which a civilization will reach and be destroyed by before they can like explore the universe. And he believes that we're going to be coming up to one of them very soon, which I actually believe is more than just him, saying it, because I do think it's weird that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, the two richest people in the world, who probably have the most knowledge, are both so desperate to get to Mars.
Yeah.
What do they know?
What do they know?
What do they
are
know?
They hiding?
Because I can't see there being. I don't know. To me, it's just very strange that a man such as Elon Musk wouldn't just, he's not just dedicating his life to go to Mars. He's literally living on the work site in a little hut.
Yeah.
He goes to sleep, and as soon as he wakes up, he's back to work doing the same thing. And he's been doing that for like 8 years now.
They know what's coming for sure.
like no man is that motivated just to get to Mars. Like, come on.
They know.
And he says that he believes one of the great filters is coming, and it's in relation to our population and economy. So he says that over the past years, especially this year, there was a groundbreaking report released where there's been the largest drop in wealth per capita in the world. So wealth per head, like percentage of wealth per head in the world. There's been the largest drop ever recorded. So who knows what that means?
It means the end of human civilization as we know it.
Because the economy is so complicated and convoluted, and there've been so many worldwide recessions and economy crashes. And he says that he doesn't believe there's enough people in the world for some reason.
What? Wait, you mean what?
Yeah, I know. No, he talks about population in the interview, and he says, lots of people will often say that the world is overpopulated, but that actually isn't the case. The problem is there's not enough people in the world.
I can't imagine that being. I really can't imagine that, to be honest.
I know it's difficult, but
I mean, there's been more. This is the most people there's ever been in the world, and it's kind of shit right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I could theorize why, but
I've got my classic. I mean, you don't know actually. We've never met before this.
Yeah,
I've got a tattoo that says "Mo people, mo problems."
Wow, that is inspirational.
Yeah, because I fully believe that. I do believe we're overpopulated. I have to disagree with that. I truly do. I can't imagine it. I can't picture it. He's wrong.
I can kind of understand why that could be the case, because there's like a thing. There's a general theory that you always learn in that's always taught in business studies at an early stage, and that is just the theory of economy of scale. And basically all that means is the more you have of something, the cheaper everything gets.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's a really dumbed down. Essentially that's what it means.
Yeah, thank you for talking to me like the 7-year-old I am, apparently.
Yeah, I'm talking to you like you're the stupidest human being on planet Earth.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. But because but yeah, that's kind of true, and that could be why. That could be the great filter. It could be that it's not actually possible for there to be enough humans on Earth for us to be able to do what we need to do. That could be the great filter. It could be that there's not enough space to have enough humans on Earth to actually, achieve leaving.
Well, either way, I think, I don't have hope for this planet. I really don't. Either way.
I think if the world pulls together and we all focus on efficiency and just staying passionate and the world's problems will fix.
There's too many selfish assholes.
There are, but eventually, I feel like I don't know. I feel like eventually that would be weeded out.
I know what they need to do. Because we've already said that, I said at least that, I think Elon and Jeff Bezos are like supervillains. If they want to create the change that they want to see in the world, they need to do it by force. I think they should put a metaphorical gun to all of our heads. Like, at some point, you should just be like, look, climate change is going to kill us. That's why I've created a laser. It can literally break the planet in half, and I will activate it in 5 years. In fact, it's on a timer. It's gonna go off in 5 years. I'm the only one who can stop it, and I'll only stop it if A, I'm alive, no one kill me, and B, if the world is a better place to live in. And then the entire planet's gonna be like, oh shit, Elon's gonna kill us. So we got to do something, you know.
But that would be like the most like evil hero shit to do ever.
I think we'd listen at that point. Though I think the ignorant would listen.
Because that's the problem. Like, so many people will only listen if they have an ultimatum.
Yeah, and then Jeff would be like, I also have a laser. And it's going to break the world into quarters. Because he's not going to stop
At that
it.
point, everyone's
Yeah, like, no. Even if we did kill Elon and stop his laser, we're going to have to take Jeff out too.
And then they both hide in China, and China's actually supporting them, of course. So then no one can get them.
That's not that. They're actually hiding on opposite sides of the planet. So you have to trek if you want to stop them both.
Yeah, one's in China, one's in America. Yeah.
And honestly, I think if they did that, that's our only hope. I think you're gonna have to get bad, Jeff and Elon. You're gonna have to face your dark side. Conquer your demons and do it by force. I truly do.
I know you're listening to this, Elon Musk. You have to.
Elon, I've checked our listener demographic. We know that you are the ultimate target audience of us. Like, they've said that you're looking for people like Jeff Bezos, and we're like, yes, that's our target audience. We are. We not only do we know you're listening, but we know that you're not just listening like in the background. You're paying attention. You sit there for 2 hours doing nothing else, just staring at a wall, listening to a podcast. You hinge on like every word, Jeff, and it's time to make the change. Yeah. Take over.
It is. It's time. It's time. You need to face your inner demons and unleash them on the world
Jeff,
to save us.
People don't like you, and people don't trust you, but they fear you, and that's all you need for this. Take over the world, Jeff.
All it comes down to is, do you care about the future of humanity?
Yeah.
And if you do, you know what needs to be
Jeff,
done.
Do you want to be a good guy? Because you're going to have to be a bad guy to be a good guy this once, Jeff. Huh? How good do you really want to be? Yeah. Jeff.
There's no such thing as a true hero without a little bit of duality.
Yeah. Well, fuck it, make it 10 years. I don't care. Just build. We know, honestly, I actually think it's easier to build the laser than it would be for just you, Jeff, to fix climate change. You know what? It's easier to build a laser than I think it would be to go to Mars. I feel like it has to be easier to build a laser.
Actually, that is a really, really good point. Why has no one thought of that?
Yeah, just build a laser and threaten the entirety of the human race.
Everyone else, yeah.
Because what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we just going to not do it?
Threaten the rest of the world into doing it.
Yeah, what are we going to do? We have no choice but to do it. What, we're just going to not do it? We're just going to let the world burn? No. I mean, we're doing that anyway. But not in the next 5 years,
Yeah. It'll be like in the next, we don't know. And that's why everyone's okay with it.
Yeah, because they're like, oh yeah, it's my children's problem. And I'm not going to know those fucking guys. They could be dicks for all I know.
Exactly. So, bring the problem to our generation and let us fix it.
Yeah. What are you going to do? You're going to make your kids look
See, that's what it is, Bradley. This is actually condescending bullshit. They don't think we can handle it.
Yeah.
And I find that disgusting.
No, it is. And not only that, but honestly, after this conversation, I actually believe that Elon and Jeffrey, they're cowards. They're cowards. Yeah. They're man babies. They're pussies. You have the power to actually fight climate change by raising an army of the human race, and you're not doing it. Pathetic. If I had your money, I'd be taking over the world right now to make that positive change.
Yeah.
You could work together. You could create a suit.
Oh my god, imagine
that puts
Jeff
the both
Bezos
of you.
and Elon Musk combined.
Yeah, you could create a suit where it's a suit with two heads, and both of them, and you're both next to each other, and you talk and debate and argue, and one of you has an arm on each side.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And in the middle, they're holding hands.
Yes. No, they're both hugging in the middle, you know. They're into it in the middle.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't. And as for their legs, they're not even like they're sitting. It's on wheels and it's got rockets and shit because you know they're Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. If they don't want to walk, they don't have to walk.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. They're bots. They're actually robots. They're just sitting in a fucking laboratory. They're still holding hands, but they just sent robots out.
They're still holding hands anyway.
Yeah, because you know they have to sit really close to each other. So you know, if someone does find them, they can say goodbye before they're killed. You know. But no, figure it out is all I can say. Figure it out.
Yeah. Figure it out, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
No, it's funny that idea sounds like it would be a cool episode for the show Doctor Who.
Oh my god!
And you wouldn't guess, Hector, but there's a key piece of Doctor Who news I want to talk about today. Russell T Davies, the big Russ T, the big TD. Russell T Davies has returned to the realm of Doctor Who for the first time.
He has. Since
2010, technically 11, but Torchwood doesn't count. 2010. And man, whoa, this is going to be the big boy. He is back. His first episode back will be the 60th anniversary, which, I mean, that in itself is pretty crazy, because when the 50th came around and Stephen Moffat with that, he did say that he went to Russell and asked if he wanted anything to do with it, and Russell was like, no. And we all took that, we were like, yeah, that's fine. And even as late as 2017, Russell was asked, would you ever want to go back to Doctor Who, even just to write like a one-off episode? And he went, no!
Really?
And the fan base...
So it's gotten that bad that he has to come back.
Yeah, and the fan base was like, okay, Russell, you know, you don't, that's fine. We don't, you know, we want you back, but, you know,
You've done enough for
us. Yeah,
us.
you saved us once, you know. It's like Jesus coming back, you know, everyone wants him back, but, you know, no one's making it. But...
And then they go to Russell T Davies like, we're sorry, Russell. We know you're tired. We know you're tired, but please...
You can't rest yet, Russell.
Please help us once more. You can't sleep yet.
So, yeah, this return is big, because not only is he returning for the role of showrunner, but it's also now a co-production. Doctor Who is now being co-produced by his own studio, Bad Wolf Productions, which, to me, and yeah, we've talked about this in off the podcast, but to me, I think that reads as the BBC very much losing faith in Doctor Who, to the point where they were probably going to cancel it again. I'm not surprised. It's had its lowest ratings in years.
I'm really, really not surprised.
Its worst ratings in years, both, you know, the people watching it and critical reception. People have hated these last two. Mostly in the fans. The actual critics of the critical reception they've been indifferent, but the fan base in particular have hated it. And I want to be actually clear about something as a big Doctor Who fan. And I'm not speaking for everyone right now. I'm really not. I'm just speaking for me. Jodie was fine. For me, and again, I'm not saying for everyone, I'm saying for me, it wasn't about Jodie. Hell, I would have loved if Josie had stayed on for another season with Russell to have seen what he could have done with her. Chris Chibnall? And we've talked about you before, pal. We know you're listening. This is your fault. This is you.
You did a terrible, terrible.
You did a really
And I remember
bad
you showing
job.
me that video clip of him when he was younger.
Yeah, and he was shit talking 80s Doctor Who. Well, guess what, pal? Shoes on the other foot now.
It comes full circle.
It came full fucking circle. You almost got the show cancelled again. You really did, and I think we've talked about this before, but I've got to stress, what the fuck were they thinking when they even made this guy show? I want to quickly stress, alright, Russell coming back, when he brought back Doctor Who, you know, he brought it back, obviously he'd never written an episode before, he's the one who brought it back, but he had like a big idea. When Moffat became showrunner, he had already written such classics as the Gas Mask Zombies. He'd written Blink by then. He'd done the Girl in the Fireplace. He had done the Rashta Narada episode. Like, he had some masterpiece bangers under his belt when he was made showrunner. What did Chris have written under his belt when he was made showrunner? Well, let's see. he did that one David Tennant episode where the sun is like possessing people. That's cool.
Oh,
he did
that wasn't the best.
He did that Smith, the 11th Doctor 2 part with the Silurians. Yeah, that was fine. To be fair, that was alright.
Oh wait, that one. Oh no, I didn't think that one was too. The one with the scarecrows.
No. The Silurians, the lizard people with the 11th Doctor and Amy.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was fine. That was his most fine episode. Then he did the episode, but and you know what? Here's the thing. I'm just gonna say the title of the episode, and this title is one of the laziest in Doctor Who history, and it explains the entire episode, so I shouldn't have to say any more. He wrote Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, and if you can't guess what that one's about, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And then he did that one episode about the cubes. Remember, the world was like covered in cubes? And the Doctor was like, what are these cubes doing here?
Cubes? Wait, which Doctor?
The 11th. And Amy and Rory.
Cubes?
Yeah, there's like loads of black cubes everywhere and they give people heart attacks. I mean it. The world's covered in millions. I mean millions of little black cubes.
I've never heard of this before.
It's called, the episode's called The Power of Three. It was in its 7th season.
That's quite funny.
Yeah.
Little cubes everywhere.
Just tiny little cubes. Those are the only Doctor Who episodes I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he didn't do any more than that. He didn't even write an episode for the 12th, I'm pretty sure. So he hadn't been in the show since the 11th. And apart from that, which again, that means his best episode was the Silurian ones, which was fine, but that was nowhere near as good as, say, Moffat's best episode since then, Blink. You know? Like, nowhere near. But then outside of that, he was the showrunner for the first 2 seasons of Torchwood. And funny thing about that, because Russell was the showrunner for the 3rd season of Torchwood. And what's really funny about that is that that's the only season of Torchwood you ever need to see or talk about, ever. That's the only one that's relevant. Like, Children of Earth is some of the best television ever made. But guess what? Season 1 of 2 in Torchwood? They're not. Really average show. Even the Sarah Jane Adventures was more enjoyable to me than season 1 and 2 of Torchwood. Yeah. And that's for kids. Like, so yeah, in my opinion, I think Chris Chibnall was one of the worst decisions they've ever made. Alright, Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman would have been sick. He's not, he's written 2 episodes of Doctor Who that are really good anyway. But outside of that, he's like a prolific author, and he did like Bad Omens. Have you ever seen that? Have you heard of it? It's the one with David Tennant and Michael Sheen. They did a show about it.
Michael Sheen? I don't know.
It's on Amazon Prime. It is really good, but he's got a really keen eye for sci-fi and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he would be like an excellent choice. But Chris Chibnall was just, man. Guess what, Chris? I can't wait to see you go. I can't wait to finish your last episode and be like, man, it's done. He's gone. I can rejoice. Because you were like a little droplet of cum in a vanilla milkshake. You taint the entire glass.
He did. He really did.
You ruined it all.
I mean, he obviously really did, because it almost cancelled it.
And that's the thing. He did such a bad job that even the guest writers couldn't do a good job because they were working with the characters he made, and they were shit. like you did that bad of a job. Like the 3 companions that Jodie has, and remember, she's had 3. I can't name a single thing that's notable about them outside of the bare essentials. Graham is old and he had cancer, and that's it. That's his story. Fucking Ryan, he's black and he has dyspraxia.
He's black. Of course he's black.
Well, yeah, he's black and he's got dyspraxia. And Yaz is Pakistani, which I think that's the politically correct term. I just want to check. Isn't it? Or is it? Isn't it?
Pakistani, yeah.
Yeah, she's Pakistani and she is a cop. But that's it. Like, I can't tell you if, like, I don't know. You could ask me questions about Rose and Amy and Martha and all those, and I could answer it. I could, but, like, their family, example. Like, Chris cheated because Graham and Ryan are, like, their only family they've got, which is dumb. That's dumb. And fucking, Yaz, and Yaz has a family, but she doesn't really like them. And it's like, man, I miss Jackie. I miss Jackie. Remember when the family dynamic in Doctor Who was really important?
Yeah.
Guess what? That was Russell. Because Russell was the key to that shit. Russell, oh man. It's so big, the fact that that's coming back. That he's doing it again. It's massive.
Man, who's going to be the next Doctor? Do we know yet?
Alright, we don't know. But there is one person who is really being, like, rumoured, I would say. Alright, so here's the thing. So, do you remember the Ollie Alexander rumours with Doctor Who?
I do, yeah.
Alright, well, here's the thing. That actor has worked with Russell T Davies a lot. Now, that might make people think, oh no, that means it's probably true. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that. But, so yeah, here are the two most probable options. And again, these are two people who have worked with Russell before. One that's been thrown around is an actress called Lydia West, who she's worked with Russell before in his show Years and Years, and It's a Sin. I've unfortunately not seen any of those yet, but yeah, I mean, I've heard, again, I don't know her, so it's hard to say. The other one, though, and this one seems more likely, is an actress called, I think it'd be pronounced Tania Miller. You ever heard of her?
I don't think so.
You might recognise her, because she's got a very distinctive look. So she's a black woman with a shaved head.
This person, yeah. Yeah, no, I think I have seen this part. What is she in?
So she's been in Doctor Who before, actually. She was in, like, one episode in, like, 2015. But she's been in shows like Death in Paradise. She was in Years and Years, as I said. She was in The Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix, which is what I've seen her from, and she was really, really good in that. She's been in a good amount of stuff. The reason why she's most probable is because back during 2019, I think it was, Russell T Davies did the novelisation for his first episode, Rose. Like, he wrote it into a book. And and when they do that for Doctor Who, and it happens a lot, they extend it, essentially. Like, they use the original script, they put in deleted scenes. And Russell, with this being years later, decided he'd be cheeky, and he added an extra scene which talks about, like, future Doctors in the Ninth Doctor story. So even though it's supposed to be the first episode of the revival, it mentions the 10th and 11th and 12th Doctors. And then at some point it mentions two Doctors that we haven't seen yet. One is supposed to be a child, which is, an interesting idea, whatever. But then the other one is specifically described as a black woman with a shaved head, which, is someone who Russell knows. And with the idea that he has said in a novel of Doctor Who that would be a future Doctor, that makes it very likely, in my opinion, that it actually could be her. Like, I think that's actually quite possible.
I know where I recognise her from. She's from Sex Education. Oh,
yeah, I haven't seen that, but I think she was, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's why I've recognised.
Yeah, no,
her.
I think honestly, I've only seen her in the Haunting of Bly Manor properly, but I thought she was really, really good in that. So yeah, I have no problems with that casting. I think that'd be really fucking cool. Yeah. And it makes sense to me. I've always thought it would have been kind of weird if after the first Woman Doctor they instantly went back to a man. Like, I think we should go back to a man at some point, of course, but instantly I do feel like, especially if we just went back to men for a while, it would feel weird,
It would, yeah, just to randomly have a woman, and then that's it.
Yeah, alright, that's it. Come back in another 50 years, folks. That's it. Bye for now, You're like, Like, yeah, no.
I mean, to me, it was weird that they just randomly decided to make the Doctor a woman anyway. But I mean, or was there like actual purpose behind it other than let's make the Doctor a woman?
Well, the main idea behind it, I think, because it in the canon of it, there's kind of mixed relations with that, if that makes sense. But I think the canon of it is because the Master became a woman. And in the 12th Doctor's final episode where he's about to regenerate, she gives her life to try and he's been trying to turn her good, and it kind of doesn't work, and he thinks he's probably never going to see her again. I don't know, it's kind of, but the only reason that they were able to make the Doctor a woman is because in the 12th Doctor's era they made the Master a woman.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably something to do with that. And that might be why the Master then became a man again. As a fuck you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Oh, again, it could have been completely random.
Just a wacky experiment.
Just wackiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we had an outage of social media the other day. We had Facebook.
Oh yeah,
Instagram
we did.
and
See,
WhatsApp.
I wasn't actually online when this happened.
Oh, are you not?
But I saw all of the memes about it when I came on in the evening. I saw that Twitter had tweeted what was it? They tweeted hello, literally everyone. Yeah. Because everyone went onto Twitter, I guess. Yeah.
See, I'm a lucky boy because I have Facebook and Instagram, but I don't really care about them that much. I also have like Twitter and Reddit anyway, so I was fine. But my mum, bless her, she texted me like every so often, just being like, "Do you know if it's back on yet?" And I was like, "It's not." Sorry.
How long was it off?
It was off for 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, yeah, that is quite a while. For some people, Instagram is their whole life.
It is, dude. Honestly, that's something I thought about it while I was happening. I was like, wow, there are some influencers out there that are probably like losing money right now, maybe. Which is weird to think about, but that's actually true. Like, they could be actually like losing money because of this outage. Like, they were supposed to post something 2 hours ago with this sponsored deal, and now they can't post it, and now they might have to pay back like 50,000, whatever. Like, just that was going through my head, and I was like, man, that's crazy.
That's true, yeah, because a lot of people rely on Instagram for their source of income.
Yeah, and you see loads of I see loads of advertisements on Instagram. People posting sponsored ads and brand deals and stuff like that. So who knows? Who knows? I don't, because I barely use it and I don't care for it. And it was out, so I couldn't see it when it was out.
It was out. I don't really use WhatsApp that much, but I know a lot of people do.
WhatsApp isn't like, I don't think that's like a social media. I think that's just like texting.
Yeah, messaging.
I've only ever used it.
I don't use it. Yeah, I've barely used it, but apparently a lot of people do.
I guess, for messaging, I guess, but you could use anything for messaging,
I mostly use Discord and Messenger and Snapchat. Those three.
If I can't get you on social media, guess what? I'm just gonna call you on the phone. Like it's 1998.
What are you, a grandpa?
You boomer.
An old grandpa, a boomer.
I mean, I was fine with it, but a lot of people weren't. And I also thought, because on the same day, someone came out against Facebook, like someone who used to work for it. They called her the Facebook whistleblower. And she's been revealing how Facebook's been like leaking data or something. But I was like, maybe it's like a targeted thing. But then it turns out apparently it's not. So do you know how it happened, apparently?
Yeah.
So apparently Facebook sent the wrong signal to a server, basically saying like, we don't need to receive any data anymore. And the server was like, okay. And normally this would be a very fixable issue, except recently Facebook has been putting its things through Facebook as like a safeguard, which means the thing they needed to send out was being told it couldn't by the thing, because it wasn't like, you know what I mean? So it was telling itself not to send it out because it was asking itself to send it out. I can't believe
that meant it was down for
so the reason it was down for that long is because someone had to manually go up there and reset it because of it. They had to fix it manually. That's why it took so long.
Wow, in the real world, in real life.
Yeah. In 2021, you had to drive down there and turn it off and on again manually.
That's crazy.
It's pathetic.
It's disgusting.
A tear. So, we've got some things we can still talk about. Do you want to move on to that, or should we save it for the very end? Because there are a few things. We've got the big thing we want to talk about.
The big thing we want to talk about, I'm assuming, is what we just recently watched.
It is.
What else is there?
Well, we could still talk about the Disney situation that's happening right now. We could brush over it.
Oh, yeah.
So the families of Steve Ditko and Stan Lee are pursuing a lawsuit against Disney for the use of their characters. These are pretty big names. These include characters such as Spider-Man, such as Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Ant-Man, like a lot of the big name Marvel characters. If this lawsuit was successful, then Disney would have until 2023, at which point they would no longer be able to use the characters. I'm going to quickly put an asterisk there, though. Like, you know, one of those little stars? I'm going to put a star there.
Mm-hmm.
In retaliation to this, Disney are trying to counter-sue with the argument that, you know, these were works done for Marvel. We have bought Marvel. These are co-created by your family, but in name only. The rights are entirely ours. And yeah, the lawsuit is, you know, there's counter lawsuits going, and you know, who knows where that's going to go. Let's quickly revisit that asterisk. It's not that they would never be able to use them again in 2023. They wouldn't be banned from using them. They would just have to pay their families a bit more money. They would have to pay the families to use them. That's kind of it. And when I found that part of it out, I was a bit like, well, I feel like you should have been paying them money anyway, actually. Like, royalties or something. Like, they haven't been getting anything. And I think it turns out that no. Like, they hadn't got anything. Like, it was a one-time deal, I guess, when those characters were made. And at that point I was like, wow, I would be pissed off at that too. I would be. I'd be pissed off at that too. But at the same time, you know, unfortunately, you know, times changed, and they weren't to know back in fucking 1960 when they made these characters that one day there would be billion-dollar franchises.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as that really, I truly believe that sucks, I don't know if they have any leg to stand on legally.
I don't know. No, not really.
Like, the deal was done, and while the circumstances, you know, after the fact changed in a big way, and it sucks. I truly believe they should be getting paid. Like, you know, the families and stuff, they should be getting royalties from the characters and stuff, but man, that's just unfortunate. That's just time. You know, times have changed. That's all that is. Like, you've lived too long at that point. You know, like it's been like 70 years. Like, you know, it's just who could have foreseen that, essentially?
Yeah,
who could have? And yeah, I do think it's a shame. And yeah, either way, I think they deserve. If they don't get the rights back, they still deserve some sort of payout. Which, if they're getting sued, in order to stop the lawsuit, Disney will probably give them a payout anyway. But yeah, give them something. I get why they're making a fuss if that is genuinely what's going on, you know? Because that would suck. It would suck if they were getting nothing when their dad made a character who is making some fucking young bucks in their 30s and 40s billions of dollars.
Billions and billions of dollars, yeah. And they're saying none of it, not a penny.
Yeah, so yeah, once I found out a bit more. But when I first heard about it, I did think, like, dickheads. and that's not because I love Disney, but that was just it was me thinking like they were already getting paid and they want more money.
Yeah.
But if it's a case of they're not getting paid anything, then no, they've got to get paid. You know.
Yeah. But that's just typical corporate Disney.
Yeah, that's Disney stock. I mean, there was the whole thing with ScarJo, which only recently got resolved.
Yeah.
And that was resolved. I mean, that was resolved okay. So it was thought that she had possibly lost up to $50 million from what they did with Disney Plus, and in retaliation, she has received $40 million. Which, I mean, that's an 80%. You know, you got 80% of it.
You definitely can't complain.
Yeah, you could. I feel like you really could complain about not receiving 50. You can't complain about receiving 40. It's not the same level of complaint. You can't be like, well, I want that 10 too. Like, you know, it's a good.
Think about all the things you could buy with $40 million.
Yeah, you could probably. I mean, think about this. You could probably make like another. You could probably make a film. You know, you could take the entire.
That's kind of crazy to think.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson could just make a new film now.
$40 million. When you think about $40 million, that's enough to buy 40 houses
for $1 million each,
or make one movie. Yeah, that's enough to buy like 40 gigantic mansion houses, or make one movie. But it isn't even a movie with a budget that's that big.
What, 40 million?
Is that that's crazy? 40 million isn't that big of a movie
budget. No, that's pretty small for a movie.
Exactly, but how crazy is that? Like,
I mean, you know the most expensive movie, right?
What is the most expensive movie? Avatar.
So the most expensive movie. I mean, alright. So there's a few movies that are this amount, but the most recent one that cost it was Justice League, which was $300 million.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's just so much money.
And another one that cost $300 million. Weirdly enough, for me, I truly think it's bizarre, was Pirates of the Caribbean 3. That was one of the most expensive movies ever made at that point. In fact, I think it was the most maybe when it was made. Pirates of the Caribbean.
What part of it?
It was the At World's End one.
Well, what part of it makes it so expensive?
All the CG.
Is it?
Yeah, man. Dude, CG is the most expensive shit of filmmaking for sure. 100%.
Is it really? Yeah, I guess, because you have like...
Look at Logan. Logan cost 10 million, but the only CG elements in that are like a few explosions and his claws. You know? Then look at Infinity War. That's so much CG, you know?
Yeah, there's more CG than people.
Yeah. But that also makes it harder, because when you're mixing CG and people, it's even more expensive. That's why, like, The Lion King isn't the most expensive movie, because if you're just doing CG, that's even easier. So, like, you're just making it harder for yourself. Just pick a lane, you know? So, yeah, and they're only getting more expensive. I think eventually we're going to get a movie that's, like, so expensive that it's like, what's the point? Like, is it even worth making this movie? It's not.
Why?
Yeah, like someone's just got to stop and be like, man, we could just why don't we just write a book? Let's just write this as a book, guys.
The problem we have before us: solve world hunger or make a movie.
Make this single movie.
But make this single movie which isn't good.
No, to be fair, imagine if you saw a headline tomorrow as like Jeff Bezos announces he's putting entire fortune into developing movie.
One movie. You could have saved all countries suffering in poverty and hunger. Instead, he just made a really good movie.
No, but that's the thing. Just because it's that expensive doesn't mean it's going to be good. You don't know that. Maybe it would just be... That'd be even worse. If you know this movie... Like, how much was this movie? You say it's $2 billion. Holy shit. That's an insane amount of money. And it's one movie? How long is it? It's a 2-hour movie? That's $1 billion an hour. That makes no sense to me. Okay, let's watch it. It's going to be amazing. And then after you're just like, wow, that's a 6 out of 10. That's awful. I hate this. I hate the world. How did that cost so much?
No, Bradley, no. It's The Room 2.
No, to be fair, if any movie budget deserved billions, it would be Tommy Wiseau. I want to see what you can do with it. That's the thing. No, that's the thing. Tommy Wiseau would have $2 billion. He could have 6 years to create it. 2 billion, 6 years, and by the end it would still turn out total shit.
Here's a strange twist to the podcast. What is Tommy Wiseau doing these days?
Well, he recently did 2 films with Mark from The Room called Best Friends.
Yeah,
but apart from that,
well, much. I mean, recently, that's like 2017.
It was, but apart from that, yeah,
that's the Disaster Artist as well.
Yeah, he was, and he I don't know. Maybe he went back home. He left the Earth, and he returned to his planet with the rest of his species, the Wiseaus.
No, you're wrong.
I am.
Tommy Wiseau. October. He tweeted this on October the 5th. Yesterday.
Amazing.
He tweeted this yesterday. He said, "San Francisco, come be a part of history for screening of The Room. I'll be there, plus Q&A.
Shit, we gotta get down there.
Spoon it and have fun. October 15th and 16th, 2021. Bulbo Theatre, San Francisco." So he is still doing stuff for The Room.
Oh yeah, no, The Room's been going on. He's been touring that since it's been made, essentially.
Doesn't it just like get boring after a while?
The Room? No.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah, but I mean, he does it all the time.
Yeah, but I'm telling you now, okay? I only choose not to watch The Room every day for the rest of my life, but I totally could, okay? Like, I could do it, 100%. That movie is... honestly, that movie is... Have you seen it? You've seen The Room, right?
Of course I've seen The Room, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why I feel like I could watch that every day because, like, it doesn't... You don't even have to think about it. You could watch it with your brain turned off and still have just as much fun because you're like, nothing I'm watching makes any sense. But then when you start to think about it, you're like, wow, nothing I'm watching makes any sense. Like, not even this shot makes sense. What was he thinking? You know, he's good for good for him, man. He fucking, because that's the thing. If I made a film like that, and at the end of it, people were like, wow, I think that was it. That was the worst film I've ever seen, like ever. And then I found out, like, oh wow, not only did that guy think that, it's on Wikipedia now. People think this is the worst film ever. I think I'd I'd never show my face in public again. I'd change my name.
However, as of we're speaking this, the movie has a 93% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that audience or critical though?
I don't know.
Fair enough. I think it's audience probably. I mean,
okay.
Critically, that'd be ridiculous to be honest.
The movie has generated $30 million in the box office. Hey, that's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, remember that's just from touring. You know, it's never had like a theatrical release. You know, that'd be crazy. If you had a theatrical release, like, hey, you could see The Room in cinemas for the next 3 months. Like, what? But no, it's only shown in places that he goes to, essentially.
Yeah. Apparently there was a lawsuit involving Tommy Wiseau. In May of 2020, Tommy was ordered to pay 2 Canadian documentary makers $700,000 in damages. The filmmakers had hoped to release an unauthorized documentary about Tommy Wiseau titled Room Full of Spoons in 2017, around the time The Disaster Artist was released. Tommy obtained an injunction that prevented them from releasing the documentary on copyright violation allegations. And they sued him $700,000.
And they won? Did they win?
I don't know if they won or not. It doesn't say.
I don't think they should. It's unauthorised. Ask him, dickhead.
Actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You could have just asked him. Like, and they even said, like, disaster artists coming out, like, clearly you're just trying to make some money here. Fuck you.
Yeah. But people do that,
They do. People love money.
Yeah.
It's true. Alright. I think we're ready to talk about it.
Okay.
Marvel's What If. Season 1 has just finished. The Twilight Zone of the Marvel Universe has just finished. I was so fucking pumped for this series when it was first announced back in, I think, 2019, I think it was. And man, what a disappointment it's been. No, I'm kidding. It's been fucking great. I've loved this series. What did you think about it? Because this is the first of the Marvel shows that you've properly watched. I mean, this is the 4th one that's come out this year, but you haven't watched all of them.
Yeah, I think this is the only Marvel show that I've seen.
What do you think?
I thought it was really good. Yeah, no, I thought it was really awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really good though. Like, you know, the Doctor Strange episode and the last 2 episodes. Yeah, those were my favourite.
Right, we'll be going through all of them, and we'll be ranking them like we did Rick and Morty, and talking about the last 2, which we have to talk about. The first, I want to quickly, because you haven't seen Loki, but that was the first step in What If, because we saw the birth of the multiverse at the end of Loki. And, you know, this show wouldn't have been possible without Loki, so big shout out to Loki, essentially. Big shout out to Loki, big shout out to Sylvie, the character who creates the multiverse in the MCU. Good on you, Sylv, because without you, couldn't have had this sweet content. I have loved this show.
It has been
the first
good.
Episode
it's been really good.
Was What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger. And again, this was the weirdest one out of all of them, because this was the only one, it turns out, the only one where it actually replays the events of the film with the characters changed. Like, the plot of this episode is pretty much the plot of the first Avenger. Which, when I first saw it, I was a bit worried, because I didn't want that. And I'm really glad it wasn't that, but it's weird that they did that for the first episode. It tells me that the first episode was definitely like the pilot of it, you know, it was the very first one they made, I have to imagine, you know. Yeah. And they just went from a different direction from that.
And it was okay. It was good.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it was still a good episode, but I definitely wanted it to get a bit more out there, which it certainly did. But yeah, I did, because I didn't want it to kind of stick to the source material too closely, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like,
I've seen the first Avenger. I like the first Avenger, but I wouldn't, you know, like, if you're just going to repeat the events of the movie.
I don't need you to show me.
No, but not even that. But like, if you're going to repeat the events of the movie, like verbatim, just with the characters reversed, then it wouldn't be fun to like revisit a different event in that movie in the future, if that makes sense. You know, like, technically we see 2 versions of the first Thor movie in this series. You know, we see the version in episode 3 where Thor dies, and then we see the one where he just throws a massive party. You know, like, and I just feel like, but the first episode, it was still good. Captain Carter was obviously the best part of it, in my opinion. The rest of it was a bit, you know, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, the entire episode was fine. The first episode was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. It was a good introduction to it. It gave you the concept of what it was.
Yeah, very much so. I think, it was, and yeah, it was a pretty simple one for that. So yeah, you're right there. Episode 2 was What If T'Challa became a Star-Lord. Obviously, when this one first aired, for a lot of people, it was a very emotional experience, because it was, you know, the first time we've seen Chadwick, or, you know, heard his portrayal of T'Challa since he died. And yeah, I mean, it definitely, some of the lines definitely hit closer to home, knowing what we know, you know, like, there are some lines that, you know, directly refer to death, that is like, you know, it's almost weird hearing him say it, you know, it's like they know, in a way, some of the lines. But this episode, it was a lot of fun. T'Challa, Star-Lord, throws a big heist. We get good Thanos, happy Thanos, who joins the team.
Oh my god, yeah, good Thanos.
We get sexy Nebula with her big blonde hair, and she keeps calling him Cha-Cha, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overall, yeah, it was a really fun episode. And I really enjoyed the ending of it. I enjoyed where they go to Wakanda. You know, you see them on Earth, and then we get that because every episode of this had a cliffhanger, and in this one we get the ego cliffhanger, which even in the end when they kind of revisit it, which we'll talk about, they still left quite open. So I still feel like they wanted to go back to that. Obviously, with Chadwick, if he hasn't recorded anymore, then it'd be hard to go back to it. But I feel like they were hoping to set up a future big thing there, you know, like a proper story there. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that now, unfortunately. But episode 3 was what if the world lost its mightiest heroes? This was, when the first 3 aired, this was the one that was like, I really enjoyed this one. I really liked the fact that they kind of stretched it, because the concept of Fury's big week, you know, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk and Thor all set in the same week. That's been like a big fan concept for a while with all the pieces thing, but not only was it cool to see them like probably confirm it, but to see them like use that idea and have all 3 happen at once and all 3 go wrong in ways that collide. Like, I thought it really showed what this show could do in terms of relating to the past of the MCU, you know.
Yeah. And this was the episode where the small guy, like,
that's his hero name before it was Ant-Man was actually just the small guy, and he changed it because
Really?
Oh it's the one where Hank Pym kills everyone because his daughter died as a SHIELD agent. And Loki takes over the world at the end.
He killed Hulk.
He made Hulk blow up like a
Exploded the
balloon.
Hulk.
Remember that? He blew up like a balloon. He went.
Never seen that one before. Just popped.
He did. Imagine if he did that in the MCU.
Weird.
You know, just live action Mark Ruffalo just being like, "What's happening?" and then pop.
That would be quite disturbing.
It would. I feel like kids would cry. That'd be even worse than Spider-Man's ending. You know, the I don't want to go. Imagine if Spider-Man was like, I don't want to go, and then instead of just turning to ash, he popped. You know.
Oh god, I feel like that would be enough to constitute.
Dude, actually no. To be fair, imagine if that's what it was instead of ashing, just like Steve, pop.
Oh, that would be so fucked.
This isn't a good place to die.
Just like their entrails blasted on all the people around
They
them.
explode,
You know?
dude. Imagine that. That would have been so fucking weird if that happened. Just people just start exploding.
That would be so disturbing.
Especially in an MCU movie, like I suppose because
Yeah.
if that happened, you know how Spider-Man he's fighting back the ash and he's kind of ashing. I suppose that visual would be like you can see that he's holding back an explosion, like his skin's starting to break, and it's like he's starting to expand a bit, and he's like, I don't want to go. I'm sorry. Boom. Man, that should be the what if. We're going to talk about future what ifs. I think I've just found my first one. What if they all blew up instead of turned to ash in Infinity War? Everyone's just even more traumatized. Yeah, and then we get episode 4, which was the highlight for a good while. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And I still think, even with the finale and everything, I still think this is the most mature story they've done in the MCU. Like, this was the darkest they've gone for the MCU, I think.
Yeah.
And it was, this was a really fucking great episode. It was so great that a lot of people still believe. And, I mean, after the finale, I don't believe it. But with this episode, a lot of people thought that this version of Doctor Strange, which a lot of people call Dr. Armani, including us, even though his real name is Strange Supreme. It's not. It's Dr. Armani. A lot of people thought that he would be the villain in Doctor Strange too. But they missed the point of the fact that he isn't like a villain. He was just very misguided. He felt bad at the end. A villain, he doesn't go from I'm sorry to no, I'm not. Like, that'd be weird,
Yeah.
But, this episode was the bee's knees.
That episode for me, I really, really enjoyed that episode. I thought that was a really good
and it was the first time that the Watcher kind of indirectly got involved. He talked to Strange in that episode, and that was a big thing.
Yeah, he spoke to him. Yeah. Doctor Strange became all powerful.
Yeah, he became. I mean, I hate the name, but he did truly become the Strange Supreme. But he's not. He's Dr. Armani. And then episode 5. What if zombies?
Was this zombies? Yeah.
Man, when I heard they were doing a Marvel Zombies adaptation, I was like, what? No, I kind of was, because Marvel Zombies is so, like, it's a cult classic, and it's so weird and dark, and it was obvious they couldn't go a full adaptation. You know, you couldn't have Spider-Man be like, you know, I ate my aunt and my best friends. I really hate myself. I wish I was dying. And yeah, and you know, they had blood in it, but it was black. And there's been rumours since this episode of there being like a live action version. I don't want it. I don't want that. I'd rather they just like continue this story in like the next season. Because the live action version, unless they're gonna go full out and make it a 15, which they won't, I don't want it. I don't want it. The best zombie stories are not filtered, you know, they're not censored, you know? Like, Marvel Zombies the comic wasn't censored. You get some gross shit in there. And some weird shit. They eat Galactus. I don't even know how that works. He's an entity. Like, I still don't get how that works. But like, yeah, I don't want a live action version. I really enjoyed this one. And if they did like a full movie version that was animated of this, that could be really cool. Something like that.
That could be cool.
But yeah, a live action. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of these would work in live action. Dr. Armani, I think would. I could totally see Captain Carter in live action. That'd be awesome. But yeah, the zombies one. Nah, leave it in animated. I think it actually works best there. Episode 6. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? Now, yeah, this one I was kind of worried for you to watch because you hadn't seen Black Panther, but I was really happy to hear, like, after it, I'm pretty sure you said, like, yeah, you get how Killmonger would be one of the best villains. Like, you agree that, like, even this episode was good enough at showing you how much of a bastard he was.
Yeah.
Which is good, because he is, like, I don't think Black Panther is in any way, shape or form one of the best MCU movies, but he is one of the best villains without a doubt. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger was, like, really fucking good. And I was honestly surprised that he was back, like, that it was actually Michael B. Jordan, you know? I thought that guy was, like, you know, doing shit, you know? Like, the Creed movies or whatever.
And it was such a twisted way to be a villain, but on a really strange sort of way that kind of made him look like he had, like, really, like, he had no morals at all. He was just such a slimy, lying person.
Which, again, yeah, it's how he is in the film. And that's another thing about him. He is truly, like, people say that Thanos, like, the people are like, you know, he had good motives. This guy's motives is to end racism. You don't get better than that. Like, he's just got very terrible ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's truly, especially in the movie, which we will watch at some point, he is someone that you could find yourself rooting for. Like, if only he wasn't doing it in such a slimy way, you know? But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. And that's the thing, Tony's like, he's barely, like, important in this entire series. Like, this was his biggest episode, but, like, even in this episode, I don't really care about Tony. I cared more about Killmonger in this episode, you know? Which I suppose I get, because, like, you know, I really do get that, to be fair, because Robert Downey Jr. wasn't in it, Eric, you know, and Michael B. Jordan was, you know, like, none of these episodes, I don't think, have had a main character, like, the main character be a recast. The closest is Spider-Man in Zombies, but even that was still, like, a very ensemble cast. He wasn't the main one. He ended up at the end kind of seeming like the main one, but he was never the main one, you know? But yeah, so I kind of get that. And unless Robert Downey Jr. comes back, I would be surprised if we had, like, Tony being a main character in any of these anytime soon. Same with Steve. I mean, Steve was, like, you know, he was in the first episode quite a lot, but I don't think he's going to be a main one. I don't think we're going to get a what if Steve story specifically.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But there's still plenty of other stories to tell, you know, and plenty of other characters, because episode 7 is what if Thor were an only child. We get the actual Chris Hemsworth, you know, and I'm glad they managed to get him back, because, like, he was really fun as a voice actor, I thought. Like, he clearly had a lot of fun with this, I think.
Yeah.
And this episode is... Loki is not his adopted brother because Odin decided to be a good guy and not kidnap this child and lied to him for years. So not only is he not his brother, but, you know, Loki's actually, like, kind of a good guy, whatever. But yeah, Thor decides, because he's, like, very spoiled now because he's the only child, and he's very responsible, so he decides to go back to Earth. Well, not go back, but he decides to go to Earth, like in the plot of the first Thor. And instead of it being like, you know, he's banished there, he's actually like, you know what, this planet's so fucking backwater, I'm gonna throw a massive party. And most of the universe seems to come to Earth to just fucking party in Vegas and shit.
It's party Thor, and he's so beautiful.
He is, and it also brought my headcanon, because this is the only version of Thor we've seen without a beard. But it's also the only version where Loki isn't his brother, which makes me believe, truly, like, I really believe this is my headcanon now. In the main MCU, the only reason Thor has a beard is because Loki can't grow a beard. And Thor probably wanted to rub it in his face and be like, look at my beard, brother, where's your beard? Oh, yes. Like, why else would the lack of Loki cause a lack of beard unless Loki gave him a beard? Unless Thor never wanted a beard and Loki, being a trickster god, was like, I'm going to give him a beard. Those are the only two headcanons I would accept now. Because, he was a massive himbo. This was, like, the funnest episode for sure. It had the most comedy. It felt like a Looney Tunes at some points with Captain Marvel and Thor fighting each other across continents and shit. It's just really fun.
Yeah.
But then that episode ends with a fucking Supreme Ultron Vision coming into his universe with Infinity Stones, and you're like, well, shit, you know what's going on there.
Yeah, the Watch is like, and all.
Yeah, the Watch is like, wait, what?
Ever.
Oh my god.
Wait,
you
what?
know, fuck is what he says. He just goes,
God.
fuck. He doesn't. But I've been, honestly, because I don't think fuck's ever been said in the MCU. That should have been it. That really should have been it. The Watch should have just been like, whoa. Fuck.
The first swear word in the
You know the worst part about that? They could swear. Their movies are 12s. 12s are allowed one fuck. The X-Men had fucks.
Why don't they have it then?
That's just trying to appeal to kids even more. Like, Wolverine and Professor X have both said fuck in their movies. Like, in First Class, which is a 12, Xavier and Magneto, they go and try and recruit Wolverine in a scene. This is the prequel when they're all young. And they walk in and he goes, hi, I'm Professor Xavier. And Wolverine instantly, like, takes a, you know, puts down his drink and goes, go fuck yourself. And they just walk out. And that's his only line in the film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then in Days of Future Past, he goes back and finds past Xavier, and Xavier's like, do you remember what you told me? Oh, yeah. Go fuck yourself. And, you know, so, yeah, they totally could say fuck in the MCU. At least once a film. They just choose not to.
Wow. I can't.
Yeah, and this totally should have been it. If the Watcher said fuck, that's how you would have known. You would have been like, wow, shit is going down.
It's going down.
They've said shit in the MCU, which is not fuck. They said a lot of shit, actually. They've said like shit a few times, but just no fucks. Cause you know why? Because the MCU doesn't give a fuck. Boom!
Oh.
That was a good one. Alright, that was a good one on me. Thanks, me. Episode... Yeah, I did. Episode 8. What if Ultron won? So this is where we find the origin of that Ultron. It takes place almost, you know, coincidentally, I suppose, during Age of Ultron, of all movies. Who would have thought? Well, yeah, the main what if, the main thing that changes is that the Avengers don't manage to get Vision's body. They don't manage to take it. He uploads his mind in it. He gets the Mind Stone. He wreaks havoc. He causes nukes to go off. He destroys the world. He gets the stones. Thanos comes and he just fucking obliterates him instantly because, unlike the Vision in Infinity War who was injured, this one was like, you know, prime strength in Vision.
Yeah, he doesn't even obliterate him. He just slices him in half before he even gets to do anything.
Well, that's because that's the thing. He was using the full power of the Mind Stone, which is an Infinity Stone, and Infinity Stones are powerful against the other Infinity Stones and shit. But you've got to remember the one in the Vision in Infinity War. He was stabbed in the back with a thing that like reduced him to like the lowest level of power. He couldn't even phase anymore. If he had not got that stab, they would... Because remember, like, there's a reason, like, Ultron was creating the Vision. Like, he knew how like, impressive that body would be. And not just in durability, but with the Mind Stone, Like, yeah, like, no, if he hadn't been stabbed, there wouldn't have even been an Infinity War. It would have just been called Avengers 3.
Yeah.
So it would have dropped the Infinity War title, Yeah, and fucking Natasha Romanoff, Clint Barton, Black Widow and Hawkeye, they end up fucking, having to fight off a load of Ultrons. Meanwhile, the Watcher's watching, as he does. And he's starting to get, like, worried. And then eventually Ultron, like, figures out the Watcher's down. The Watcher's like, fuck! No, he's not like, fuck. I wish he was.
The Watcher's like, what is
this?
But
the Watcher's like, I've seen a lot of things, but what the hell is this? Like, he's getting freaked. And then, eventually, Ultron he finds the Watcher in his, like, little bubble.
He bursts through the, the wall, the prism.
Yeah, he bursts into the prism, into the middle of the prism.
Yeah.
And finds the Watcher, and they have, like,
and then he starts fighting him. He blasts him down to a planet, and then they start
yeah, and
battling.
they fight throughout the multiverse, landing in different fucking universes as they do so, with every punch, essentially. And at one point, Ultron becomes big and eats a galaxy, and it was visually very reminiscent of Galactus, which, man, that was really cool to see. A Galactus in the MCU would be next level.
Yeah.
To be honest, that'd be fucking sick.
I remember there was one line that really got me pumped, and it was like Ultron was like, "You just stand here," or what was it? He says, "You have no commitment," or something like that, and then the Watcher was like, "You couldn't even begin to comprehend the extent of my will." And then it just like explodes in like a blast of light, and then he's got like his golden armor, and I was like, oh fuck,
they went like anime in this.
Oh, it's about to go down.
They went like anime in this.
Yeah, it was awesome. I really loved it. It was so cool. The only thing that did upset me was that the Watcher wasn't as powerful as I hoped he was.
Well, I don't know. I think it's debatable. He's never seen something like this happen before. And he doesn't know what to do. But at the same time, because this isn't the exact Watcher from the comics, it's hard to gauge whether or not he, maybe he truly isn't that powerful. The Watcher from the comics, who's got an actual name, Uatu, he is definitely powerful enough to stop this. But they don't ever call him Uatu in this, which I thought at some point maybe they would, but they didn't, which implies that, this is a completely different Watcher. And who knows at that point, to be honest? I don't. That's my point. I don't know. He could actually not be that powerful, but who knows? Maybe, I don't know, if he is that powerful, then it is totally possible that, he hasn't faced something like this before. He's scared to give his full power in case he blows a hole in the fucking multiverse or something, he doesn't know how to do his full power. But you are right, he does let, unfortunately, Ultron get the better of him, and he has to run off like a coward. Meanwhile, Black Widow and fucking Hawkeye, they go and find Armin Zola from the Winter Soldier. They go find a different version of him. They download him into a memory stick, and they're like, we're going to plug this in Ultron. We're going to plug this in his hole. And that's going to stop it. And they have to fight a load of Ultrons. Hawkeye kills himself. And he really does. He actually just kills himself. He looks at fucking Black Widow, and his last words are, "I told you, I don't want to fight anymore." And he just lets go. And he lets go, he shoots an arrow that caused an explosion. Newsflash. The arrow caused the explosion. You totally could have survived that, couldn't you, Clint? You could have just shot it from there.
Yeah.
He kills himself. He commits suicide. He doesn't want to live anymore. And that leaves Black Widow and Armin Zola in an Ultron fucking bot thing, whatever. But the main cliffhanger of this episode is the Watcher arrives in the almost shattered universe of Dr. Armani and asks him for help. At which point you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. It's about to go down. And then we get episode 9. What if the Watcher broke his oath? Oh shit. Oh shit. Now, I hate trailers, because trailers had already spoiled this. They spoiled the fact that the Guardians of the Multiverse would be a thing. And if you think about it, I mean, yeah, it was obvious it was going to be a thing, because why make this show if you weren't going to have some form of endgame? It didn't have to be this season. It totally could have been not been this season, but at some point, a Guardians of the Multiverse would have to have happened at some point, you know? This isn't just an anthology show in Marvel. It couldn't have been.
What did you think about the different voice for Ultron?
I didn't mind him. It was the same person who replaced, I found out, Red Skull in both this and Infinity War. But I thought he was fine. Honestly, the main reason I actually didn't mind it is because in this he takes over Vision, and I like to think of it as maybe this is like a mix between Ultron's voice and Vision's, and that's why it sounds a bit different. Right. But that's just my headcanon.
Yeah. Because I quite liked the original Ultron's voice. I feel like it could have been quite.
Well,
cool.
The original Ultron is. I mean, he's a fucking. Impactful. I don't remember the actor's name, but he played Robert California in The Office. He's James Spader. That's it. He's got a beautiful voice, you know. His voice was so good that, on set. On the set of Age of Ultron, they had a stand-in for it, because he was just going to do the voiceover. They had a stand-in, and then after about a week, the actors came and were like, look, we've heard James Spader was doing this. Why isn't he here? and they were like, well, he doesn't need to be. He was going to do, the voiceover. And they were like, yeah, but this is James Spader. We want him here doing the voice live. And so he got in a motion capture suit, and he did it throughout the film anyway. He did it on set when he didn't have to, because they were like, nice. We know that this is going to be a powerful performance, and we want to see it live. We want to be able to react to it live. You know, who's this fucking stand-in essentially? You know,
that poor man.
Fuck that guy. No, fuck that guy. Maybe it was this guy. Maybe it was the guy who they hired to do this one. But no, I thought the recast was fine. I truly did. I thought it was alright. Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, and in this last episode we get the Watcher, he gets Captain Carter, he gets T'Challa, he gets fucking Killmonger, he gets Thor, and he gets Gamora from that classic episode of What If we all loved. The Gamora episode. Remember Gamora?
Gamora, why?
So here's the thing with the Gamora. This season was supposed to have 10 episodes. I'm pretty sure that was the 10th. I'm pretty sure that was the 10th, and unfortunately, she was already too involved in the episode to write about. I reckon we'll probably see her in season 2. We'll find out what happened there. But yeah, that was almost certainly the 10th, and unfortunately they had to cut it. So instead we just have a random Gamora in this episode who we've never seen before.
Wait, so why did they cut it?
Well, the only reason they gave was COVID. They said it had something to do with COVID.
I see.
But yeah, they had to cut it.
Oh well, that's a shame.
I mean, I didn't mind it too much, because I thought it was pretty self-explanatory what the difference was. He says, that she killed Thanos. I feel like that's kind of all you need to know, really. Yeah, that's the main brunt of what you need to know about her. But yeah, I didn't think she detracted from anything. It just would have been nice to have seen her before, Yeah, and then them with Dr. Armani, they become the Guardians of the Multiverse, and they fucking take the fight to Ultron, and
And it's basically all Dr. Armani.
Yeah, he is definitely. Again, it should have been the team's official name should be Dr. Armani and the Guardians of the Multiverse, like a band. Like he was definitely the main front of the fight for sure.
Which I thought would be the case, because that's the one that makes the most sense there. Like, you've got fucking, Thor is powerful, right? But is Thor powerful enough to destroy the entire universe? No.
Although, fun fact about Thor now, he's been in every team. All of them. He was in the Avengers. He was in the Revengers. The Ravage, the ones he did in Ragnarok. He's a part of the Guardians right now, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he's been in the multiverse, Guardians of the Multiverse. There's a version of Thor in every team.
He's everyone's favourite.
He is, dude. Soon there's going to be a team of Thors.
Oh my god, they should totally do that. What if the Avengers was just loads of Thors?
The four Avengers, There could be four of them.
Yeah. Oh my god,
it would
perfect.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought this episode, it didn't really, because it didn't have much in terms of story. It didn't need it though. The fight, the visuals and the fighting and the dynamic of the characters, all of it made up for kind of the if you think about it, this entire episode had about 4 scenes. The opening, the get together, the fight, the resolution. That's all it needed. That's all it needed. This episode was fucking just awesome. Just a fucking blast to watch, It really shows the benefit of animation. Yeah. Again, this episode went anime,
It was awesome. I really loved because I love that. That's one of the reasons why I love One Punch Man. Just epic, intense fight scenes where you see extreme power versus extreme power. I live for that shit. I loved seeing the Watcher and that dude fighting, and I loved seeing the Watcher and the team of them fighting.
In this episode it was awesome. More Dr. Armani fighting Ultron, and Dr. Armani. I think my favourite thing he did, and it wasn't that visually appealing, but him opening that portal to all of those zombies. I thought that was really funny. The zombie dimension.
That was funny. Yeah. And then that girl comes out.
Although, fun fact, that is a different zombie dimension to the one we saw in episode 5. It has to be, because when he first opens the portal, we see a version of zombie Captain America and zombie Hawkeye come out, and both of those ones get killed in that version. So there's more than one zombie dimension out there. Yeah,
I guess so. But one thing that I always love with animation generally, because how do you portray in when you're actually drawing something, how do you make something look more powerful? You have explosions and stuff like that. How do you make it look more powerful? Visually it's challenging, and that's why it always looks so awesome, because the artists just they have to get creative, and the sound always plays a huge role. You hear the massive bass booms coming through, or what is it called, the sonic booms. You always hear that when someone hits something, and it's awesome. I love it. It's always so atmospheric and so bassy, and it has to play off of drama and really, really exaggerated animation and stuff, and it's always awesome.
My favourite thing about this season finale was it kind of this season finale, it touches on a thing from every episode this season. Obviously we get a lot of the characters come back, but even in the ones we don't again, we see zombies in this, with the zombie dimension. In the third one, where all the Avengers are killed, that gets visited at the end. That's where he sends Natasha. He sends her back to that dimension instead. This really wrapped up the previous 8 episodes. With a really tight bow. And obviously there will be some that come back. Captain Carter is still going to come back, definitely. In terms of the others, I'm not sure which ones could come back. We might see Dr. Armani again if that crystal thing ever does get destroyed. Maybe we'll see a sequel to Party 4 where he goes on a date. He goes on that date. What if 4 went on a date? and maybe we'll get a sequel to the zombies with the zombified Thanos. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. That might have just been for fun. you know, because they do that in the comics too. You know, there were some What If comics. There were a lot of What If comics that never got a part 2. You know. So yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked if we never saw the fight against zombie Thanos, because at the end of the day, they probably didn't win that fight. They probably died. You know.
Yeah.
Alright, should we rank the episodes?
Yes.
Do we go from least favourite to favourite? I believe we should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was your least favourite?
Least favourite. For me, least favourite, it's between episode 1, episode 3.
Just choose one.
Yeah, probably one of the, yeah.
So wait, which one you going with?
Probably least favourite, probably say episode
Captain
1.
Carter?
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, no, I probably would say that.
Unfortunately, it's the same for me. Which, again, it's still very much a very good quality highlight episode. It's just the rest of them go so much further with the concepts, you know? So yeah, I would agree that Captain Carter. And you know what? Honestly, good. The first episode should be the worst. It wasn't like that with Rick and Morty season 5, you know? Episode 1 was a shadow on the rest of the series for a good while, in fact. So yeah, no, I'm glad it only went up from there. What was your second least favourite?
Second, I'd probably go with episode 3.
See, for me, I'm actually going to go with What If T'Challa Became a Star-Lord.
Which one was that?
Yeah.
Episode 2. See, yeah. See, the only reason I didn't say that is because, you know, he dies. You know, that's to count something. You know. That makes
Okay. T'Challa. No. Yeah, but no. It's definitely special when you're watching it, but in terms of like critically rating it, like. No, I think the episode is like it's a fine episode, but I mean, like, I don't know. There was a good amount that was a bit weak about it, in my opinion. You know, they depowered Thanos quite a lot. He was fun to watch in it, but you know.
Yeah, the good Thanos was interesting. Like, yeah, no, I get what you mean. It was very forgettable. Not very.
In fact, I would go as far as to say if it wasn't for Chadwick dying, it would be considered a very forgettable experience. Yeah. And then I would put episode 3.
Yeah, so yeah, and then for me I'd put episode 2.
Okay, yeah, so with the first 3 we've decided are consistently the lowest. I think that's when we're going to get into like different ones. So what's your least favourite after that? So your 4th least favourite.
So what, I went episode 1, episode 3, episode 2. After that... Ooh, I see. I'm going to say... See, Party Thor had a very, very exciting ending. So... But I felt like most of the episode wasn't that, like... You know... It wasn't that amazing. Like, there were some quirky little bits in it, but I didn't think it was that, like, you know... Content-wise, it wasn't.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But then, zombies. See, zombies was cool, but also Killmonger. For me, I think I'm probably gonna go with
Move.
I'm probably going to go with episode 7, I think.
With the full one? That's fair.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go with Killmonger, I think. I think the last half of the episode is really good, where Killmonger's like really enacting his plan, but the first half where it's kind of it's treading the grounds of Iron Man, basically before he kills Stark, I feel like it could have gone a bit faster.
What happens in the first half?
Yeah, it's just him dealing with Stark, and like he's doing it in like the shadows. Essentially, we don't even know he's supposed to be a villain yet, even though it was obvious he was going to be because he's a villain. Yeah, but the second half of that, where he actually returns to Wakanda after having committed the murders, I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I'd put episode 6 next.
And then what would you put? What would you put after that?
After that, I think that's where I'd put 7. Yeah, I think that's where I'd put 7. The 4th episode.
And yeah, I do think, yeah, I do think the zombies one was better than Killmonger. Yeah, there wasn't really much to it other than the whole sort of like really interesting dynamic with Killmonger. For me, that was the only part of it that I thought was really like good.
Yeah, and even then, as good as it was, if I really wanted to see Killmonger in his prime, I would watch Black Panther. Personally.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with zombies, because I think, after the 4th episode is where I'd put zombies, because, and that's, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, but I actually think zombies would be, like, the most rewatchable out of all of these, because it's so, like, standalone and kind of out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I could totally rewatch zombies, like, right now. You know, like I feel like that's one that you could kind of. I would say it's the most rewatchable in a way, because you don't have to think about it really. You know, it's just zombies.
It's the most filler without being
exactly. Yeah, it's the most filler but fun. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd put that. I'd put that. Yeah, I'd put that after 4. Yeah.
No, I think I just have to go in and put episode 8.
Yeah, we've gotten to the last 3 now, I'm pretty sure, and they're really good 3.
Yeah.
They are. I would agree, yeah. I think What If Ultron 1 is like, I'd say it's my 3rd favourite. It was really good, but the Watcher stuff was definitely more captivating than the Natasha and Clint stuff, as good as that still was, and I do still think that was good. You know, whenever the Watcher came on screen and he was like, oh shit, you know, the audience would immediately be like, oh shit, you know. So yeah, I'd say that definitely brings the episode up a lot. If the Watcher wasn't as big of a part of it, then it wouldn't have been that highly. But yeah, his part of it was really cool. So yeah, I think I'd be happy putting it there too. Yeah. Then...
Yeah, it was a clever way of kind of starting to bring it together, wasn't it? Kind of like starting to make the Watchers, because like at the start of it, you kind of distinguish like the Watchers' sort of existence in the the story as being something that's not interactable or connected to. Well, it is connected to, but it's not like a part of the story that we're watching. He's kind of he's
a narrator. He's omniscient, you know.
Yeah. And then that's kind of like how it brings it all together, starts to bring it together, which is nice. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, correct.
Technically, they already did that with Dr. Armani, but
no, but you are right, and after that, so I think would you put that in the same place you said? Yeah.
That's my next one, episode 8, and then after episode 8, I put episode 4.
I think I don't know, I'm actually going to have to, like, cheat in a way. I think for spectacle, the season finale is the best, but in terms of, like, the writing, I do think episode 4 would be the best. It's got the best story of them all. But in terms of, I think I would do the same rating. I think I would put the finale over 4, but 4 is still one of the strongest stories of, like, the entire MCU as a whole, not just the show, you know. You know?
It is. They were both really good, but in two very different ways. Yeah, very much so. Like the season finale was like an epic. Like I was involved in it. I was like, oh shit! It was exciting and enthralling. Whereas the episode 4 was more like
and intriguing. Yeah.
It was a different feeling because it was more like dark and negative.
It made you think.
Feelings, like
Yeah. But no, I would. Yeah, I think I'd agree. Yeah, I'd put 4 as my second favourite, and I do think this finale was really fucking cool. And I'm going to be interested to see what they're planning to do for the finale of season 2. Like, are they just going to do another Guardians of the Multiverse? You know.
Guardians of the Omniverse. They just up.
Well, that's the thing.
time.
If you do Omniverse
shit,
you're kind of treading a fine line because we're in the Omniverse. The Omniverse is a multiverse of multiverses, which would include us. That's why most people talk about the Omniverse in comics, but you don't touch it. You don't do a threat to the Omniverse because that makes no sense. We're not in danger. We know we're not. You've broke my suspension of disbelief, comic. I know I'm not in danger.
Unless they did it in a way that the Omniverse was almost in real danger.
Unless they did it in a way where it was interactive and they almost actually destroyed our universe. At which point it's actually a documentary. Yeah, it's no longer a show. Like, it becomes a documentary. Watch the season finale of What If to find out how we actually almost died. Yeah, overall, it's been a really good season. And now, what's a few what ifs you would kind of like to say? You thought about it at all? I've got a couple. First, obviously, is what if people exploded at the end of Infinity War instead of ashed, like we discussed earlier.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's quality.
And we just see them get even more traumatized and being like, man, I'm covered in Peter. Is what Tony could say. He could be like, I'm covered in Peter.
Oh, God. That's terrible. That's terrible.
It's true, though. It's true. Talking of Infinity War, I think one that, honestly, I kind of expected this to happen, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it this season, but I think they will eventually. What if the other half survived in Infinity War? What if the other half was snapped?
Yeah.
Because I do think that'd be a really interesting concept. Like, yeah, what if the other half left? What if fucking Tony and Ant-Man and Black Widow, what if they got snapped away?
However, it would kind of be like episode 1.
See, that depends on where you go with it, though. That depends on if you do follow this. I mean, because that's the thing. If Tony Stark's not around, they don't actually have time travel. So what else could they do?
That's
so how?
point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could just generate a whole
you could think, and plus Doctor Strange would still be alive.
Oh, so you could go down the road of magic.
Yeah, maybe in fact, because remember he foresaw the events. Maybe he snaps, the other half snap, and Doctor Strange there being like, "What just happened? We were supposed to die. I don't know what to do." And we get to see like him have a bit of a like. No, I feel like it could be a really good idea if they're done right.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they're listening to this podcast and they'll just rip off your idea.
Yeah, man, we've got so many famous listeners. We
do. Yeah, even Barack Obama, Elon
Chris Chibnall,
Bezos. Chris Chibnall.
Man, we are popular. So yeah, if you're listening, Kevin Feige, I'd love to see that episode. Any episodes you'd like to say?
What if? Alright, now hear me out.
I'm listening.
What if?
I'm listening.
Hear me out. What if? Alright, Bradley, you need to stop interrupting me. What if? What if they were all babies?
Marvel babies.
It'll be like the Boss Baby. Alright? Hear me out. It'll be like Boss Baby. Alright? Hear me out. But it will be, Marvel babies, and it will be animated in the same style, right? And it'll actually feature, the Boss Baby. As a cameo. Boss Baby will be like, he'll be Thanos.
Wow. 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 That's, yeah. Do you want to know something really funny? It's not babies, but a rejected idea for this apparently was what if the Avengers were all dinosaurs?
That's basically the same premise.
No, I mean, Avengers. I mean, it's funny that you said the Boss Baby. I was thinking it was going to be more like, I don't know, the Muppet Babies. Like they are just babies, but maybe like Iron Man has a temper tantrum and actually accidentally destroys a building with his blast, and they're like, oh, Tony, or Hulk can't stay in his crib. Like. I think that'd be great. In fact, you know what? Forget what if. Make that an entire show. Just Marvel babies. Yeah.
Marvel babies. Yeah. Actually, I think it would be a good show. Be good. I mean, actually, they're already technically doing it with Spider-Man.
Nah, that's mean. They're not babies. He's a young adult.
They are babies.
He is a young adult.
They're kids. They're not adults. They're not even young
They
adults.
They're
kids.
children.
Yeah, they're basically.
Oh, you mean that show?
Boss Baby, but.
Oh, well, no. I mean, that's not. That's not a part of the MCU, though. That's not canon to the MCU.
No. Bradley.
Oh
that's
my
part
god,
of
I
the
didn't
MCU.
know that. No one told me. So what? Right after Endgame, that happens. That show happens.
Yeah.
Man, I did not know that. That's amazing.
No.
Another what if I think I'd really like to see, because you seen Civil War? Well, in Civil War, it's kind of like ambiguous to us of like, did a side win? I'd like to see a what if where a side did in fact win. Like, what if Iron Man did properly win, or something like that? You know, in that case, it'd be like they're all in prison. You know, like the Avengers are being run by the government. You know, but I think Civil War would actually be like a good source for a what if. Personally, with that sort of conflict.
I think so.
You agree?
Yeah. I think so.
I'm
yeah.
really glad you agree with me. Because I was prepared to argue about it, but I don't have to now. You just agreed, you know. Thank you. And I know apparently in season 2 they're planning to do an episode about the new Black Widow film, which they couldn't do in season 1 because it was too soon, but they can do it in season 2, and apparently they're planning it. And I think that's going to be, what if Black Widow was a dude?
They should definitely do that, but the problem is they won't, because it's like, you know, it would be like if you whitewashed a black character.
Alright then, it'll be what if Black Widow was black?
See, and that triggers me that is the case. Triggers me immensely that is the case, because that would be fine, but making Black Widow a man would not be okay. How? What?
There's the context, because you know Black Widow. You know, did you watch the film? They hate women in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, they love women. The main villain hates women, so he'd be like, "Hey, Black Widow, you're actually alright. You're a man like me," is what they'd say. You know.
Yeah.
I love you, you fellow man, is what he'd say to him. Yeah, and I think for the next Captain Carter, I think we're going to see a reprisal of Winter Soldier. With maybe, would you know, Steve as the Winter Soldier instead of Bucky? That could be quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've got one better. What if it was a musical? Alright, Marvel musical. But it's like, you know, it's like canon that they're all actually in the real world singing to one another.
Like the way the Flash did.
What do you mean?
Oh, do you not know? So the Flash TV series has a musical episode.
Oh my god, they just
They
stole
did.
my idea.
And the way they did it is that there's a villain
so
called the Music
embarrassed.
Meister. And he puts the main two
I
characters
see.
in a coma. Well, I say the main two characters, I mean the Flash and Supergirl. It was actually a crossover. And yeah, and because they were both on Glee, the actors. So yeah, and they get put into a coma and they're in a shared dream that's a big musical. And they have to sing their way through it or die. There's like 5 or 6 songs in that. Yeah. So yeah, they just stole your idea essentially. You're right. You should sue them.
Yeah.
I've got one too. I think what if Edgar Wright made Ant-Man would be great. He was fired from that movie. Bring him back for the what if, just to see what he actually would have done. Because I would have loved to have seen that movie. Edgar Wright is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? That's my final suggestion. Yeah. What if Edgar Wright made Ant-Man? Which would be the weirdest title too. It'd be like, wow, that's a meta title. But then you'd watch it and be like, wow, this is a meta episode. You know. Then you'd see written by Edgar Wright and you'd be like, oh, it was all meta. It was 100% meta. You know. But yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I think that's it, Hector.
And is that the conclusion to this episode
This,
of the
the 10th
podcast?
episode of the Nethergreen Podcast.
We have been going for over
Well,
2
we
hours.
have to cut a bit because we have to one in where you went and fucking...
It's
you went and
still-
did an
it's
action
still over
scene.
2 hours. It's still.
Yeah, it should be around 2 hours. But yeah, this has been a good long episode. Hopefully, we won't lose it.
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
really hope so. We definitely should have.
I really hope we don't either.
Just like export it twice and save
I'm gonna quickly listen through it again and record another version just to be safe.
It's genius.
Just so in time with myself, like, hello and welcome to the the Nethergreen.
Oh yeah, you use it as a script and review.
Yeah, except I can't translate it, and that doesn't take too long. So I just listen to it and speak it, as you know, with the inflections. Imagine how hard that would actually be.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you had to listen to me speaking right now and then speak exactly like I did with that sort of delay. Impossible.
I mean, I'm going as far as to say if you did it.
See, it's hard.
Yeah, but see, you're out of time.
You're not doing it at the same time
as me.
Easy.
You see?
See? I know.
There's like a 1
exactly.
delay.
It's impossible. No, but it really would be impossible. The only reason I would suggest it for myself is because I'm the one who's speaking, so maybe I could like think ahead of myself. But I wouldn't. Yeah. And yeah, no, hopefully we don't have to do that.
If you were able to do it, Bradley, I'm going to go this far. I'm going to say on record, if you are able to do it, I'm going to PayPal you $1 million.
You just said that on record. I'm going to have to do it now because you realise on record, like, if you don't give me that $1 million, I could sue you in the court of law.
You could sue me in a court of law, Bradley, but that's the thing. You can't do it without any cheats, any sort of like, you know, you can't script it. You can't help yourself. You can't practice it more than once. You have to do it first time without any scripting. It has to be with this episode of the podcast.
I will. And because here's the main thing, and you've already gone on record, but you didn't say, like, you know, I had to be good at it. You just said I had to do it. So, you know, it will be like that. It will be, you know, with bad delays and stuttering, you know, like. And by the end, I'm going to just walk away with $1 million.
Oh my god, you're so smart.
Genius.
How could you do this to me?
But yes, thank you for listening to this episode. We've hoped you enjoyed it. I kind of hope you didn't. I hope you left this episode kind of feeling bitter. You know, like, Yeah, I want you to leave this episode thinking like, man, I regret this.
I want you to go out tomorrow, and wherever you're going to the shops, to a restaurant, I want you to give the person serving you, the staff member, I want you to give them the worst day of their life.
Actually, I want you to go out and wait in a queue, and then wait in a queue for ages, and then when you get to the very front, just be like, I don't need this shit, and then go home, and realise that you waited there for like an hour for nothing. And then when you get home, be like, oh no, I don't know why I did that. That's how I want you to feel. I want you to have that feeling. You know?
Yeah. That's the worst feeling. It just makes
exactly, yeah, that's how I want you to leave this having lost faith in humanity. Like I do every time. Every time.
Every time we record the podcast,
it's true, and one day I'm going to run out. I will. I'll do it.
And you don't want to know what's going to happen.
I've just told you, I'll run out. That's what's going to happen.
That's it. That's what will happen.
Alright, thank you for watching. I have been your host, Andrew.
No.
Oh yeah, Bradley, I am. And again, this will never be mentioned. I just want to remind everyone how canon that is. Okay? I need people to understand.
Don't ever say that again.
I am, buddy, but I need people to understand. Alright, don't let us forget this. This is canon. Okay, bring it up. If we ever write a book, this has got to be in it.
No. I encourage everyone to forget who he is. He's not important.
Oh yeah, no, actually, yeah, do forget this. Actually, yeah, this never happened. I'm just Bradley. It's just Bradley.
Right. On that note, Bradley.